So good, don't you agree? You're listening to She Flips, He Flips, and I'm Curtis R. Monday.
Good morning, I'm E.J. Williams.
Give us a call right now at 312-374-8130. That's 312-374-8130. EJ, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Man, I'm back in the... I told EJ we wasn't friends until 10. What time is it? It's time showtime. We friends again. I missed you, EJ.
Yeah, I had a good, busy week out of town.
Yeah.
It was a good week.
Yeah, I saw you doing your thing. Give us a call. We want to hear from you, 312-374-8130. The show is called She Flips, He Flips. The show has three primary goals. One, we want to create an inspirational blueprint for those interested in real estate investing. Two, we want to create generational wealth within our communities. And then three, we want to be a source of education to help individuals and provide them resources. So give us a call at 312-374-8130. If you're interested in real estate and strategic coaching, you can reach me at www.curtisrmonday.com. That's www.curtisrmonday.com, and schedule your one-on-one strategic session. For all your insurance and financial services needs, be sure to call my office at 708-647-1005. That's 708-647-1005. EJ, where can individuals find you?
You can call me 773-340-9101. You can shoot me an email at ej@buildingherlegacy.com. You can find me on social media, Instagram, ultimate_EJ, also at Ultimate Real Estate Blueprint. If you're in need of a real estate broker, a coach for your own real estate investment, or a mentor, give me a call.
Absolutely. Today's topics, we've got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about the 10 lethal mistakes to avoid on your first real estate investment. So we got some different do's and don'ts in that realm. Also going to be shortly introducing one of our new preferred referral partners of She Flips, He Flips, the one and only attorney Kelly Knight will be our guest here on She Flips, He Flips. And so sit back, relax, and let yourself go. I want to give a special shout out to a couple of our other preferred referral partners doing extraordinary things. Mr. Corey Singleton, the money man. EJ and Corey did a great work last week talking about 203Ks.
Yeah, it was a really good show.
Yeah, I heard. Got great feedback. Corey's also has an event coming up on NBA All-Star Weekend. If you don't have anything to do or you're out and about trying to enjoy the festivities, check out what Corey's doing. And also Nina Gonzalez. I think Nina is getting inducted on the board. Is it the Realtors Board? Dearborn Realtors Board?
Yeah, the Dearborn Realtors Board.
Absolutely, absolutely. So phenomenal work. Nina does really, really good work. Like I'm really impressed by both of their business acumen, and so thank you. And so that's a great segue to bring it on our newest referral partner.
Yes.
One of the things that EJ and I set out to do when we were talking about the show and things of that nature, we wanted to make sure that we brought to the table competent professionals. And so if you've been following us since our first show, you've seen us strategically over the course of the last several weeks put together our team. So we got lenders, so Corey.
Yes.
Corey does some of everything, but I probably would put Corey more in the real estate investor rehab loan lending point of category. Nina can do it all, but probably more in the first residential. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we got Sean Bacon.
Yes.
And Sean's been around forever and kind of doing his thing.
Yeah, on the home inspections. Yeah.
But we need someone to make it all together, bring it all together. We need someone that can always help us understand the small print, understand the legalities of the transaction we're trying to do. And so we're pleased to announce our newest preferred referral partner, Attorney Kelly Knight. Hello, Kelly. How you doing?
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks
good morning.
for having me.
All right. Glad you can make it, Kelly.
I know, right? It's been a little long road. I'm here. Glad to be here.
It's all good.
Traveling around the world.
Right.
Being a legal expert, doing her thing.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to do my thing, trying to be a competent expert like you described.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Well, you're checking the box off with that one, so your reputation precedes you. But for those who may not know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been involved in real estate?
So I have been practicing since 2006, which is when I graduated from law school. Went to DePaul for law school, born and raised in Chicago. But I have been in real estate in some way or another probably my whole life because my parents are in real estate. So it's one of those things where I did a lot of learning just from exposure, soaking it all in. And I actually was tired of real estate in the beginning. So when I was in law school, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm doing something different. And then it was one of those things where when you think about what you really know and the connections that you have, it just only makes sense to go into that field. So was working for the county right out of law school, doing property tax appeals, so still in the real estate area, and then worked for a small real estate firm in the Evergreen Park, Beverly area before starting my firm with my two business partners, which is Knight Morrison Reddick Law Group. We started in 2012, and so that's been it.
You mentioned fatigue about real estate.
Yes.
What were you getting tired of?
So, you know what, I think that it was probably when I was younger, just being young and probably wanting to rebel against what was put in my face. And it was one of those things where, so my dad is a developer and a manager, and so I would be all the time going to projects, looking at rehabs, doing the sort of thing that now I do for fun.
Right.
But back then it was sort of like enough is enough. And then, you know, just thinking maybe I want to explore something different. Maybe I want to kind of learn some other things, which I did. So we specialize at Kmart. We specialize in also corporate formation, entertainment. So we do some other things. So I get that variety, but it just, you know, it just makes sense to bring it back home to real estate, just given the years that I've had the experience.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so Kelly and I met probably, how long has it been now? At least 6 years.
And that was so random.
Yeah, I think you reached out to me, and sorry, Curtis,
I was
actually
gonna say,
did respond
you
to her.
responded to her, right? Ain't that something?
I did respond to her. She was, I think at the time you were just trying to expand your reach, you know,
Yes.
working with realtors, because obviously realtors refer their clients attorneys, you know, for transactions. And we sat and we had coffee, and I thought it was an instant hit. You know, I like what she had to say as far as her services were concerned. And ever since then, we've been doing business together,
Yes.
closing plenty of deals.
I don't know how that little description that she gave you don't understand the magnitude of how lucky and privileged you are that the great E.J. Williams
You know
actually
what?
called you back. Which brings me to my next question. You know, there are a lot of attorneys out there, and E.J. saw something in you, obviously. Help us understand what sets you apart from other attorneys who are operating in this space.
So I think a couple of things, but as far as what I think EJ probably saw in our conversation, like she mentioned, the realtors do refer their clients to the attorneys. And so for them, it's kind of like they've taken whatever time to cultivate certain relationships with their clients. A lot of things are word of mouth. So I think it takes a lot of trust and a lot of, you know, really a lot of trust to hand your client over to someone else. And so for me, I wanted to make sure that she understood how I do business, that her clients would be well taken care of. And one of the things that I recognized in just talking to other clients who I maybe got in contact with after they had been with a different attorney before, or even in talking with other realtors, one of their biggest complaints about attorneys, real estate attorneys in particular, is the response time.
Yes,
and
definitely.
So for me, that was just really important because, I mean, naturally, who doesn't want a response immediately to something that is so important as a real estate transaction, especially for, I mean, obviously it's important to anyone, but a first-time home buyer, you know, someone.
Because they don't know.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
They
And so, you know, I never want to be the person that's holding up the deal. I never want to be the person that's not responding, that's not keeping people in the loop. So I think that that's a big thing, and that's something that my partners and I definitely we're all on the same page with that. And when we were kind of coming together to figure out what do we want our, you know, firm to sort of stand for, that was one of the things, is just making sure that people can reach us and, you know that we're approachable. And the other thing is just, I think that we are very transparent, and I like to think that we're very easy to talk to. I feel like a lot of times people are intimidated by attorneys. They feel like they may have questions but they don't feel comfortable asking those questions. I like to just be very approachable.
But that's why you have the attorney, because you're smart enough to know that you don't know.
Exactly. And you have to lend to their expertise. And the other part is a realtor. It's really important to pick an attorney who's what we call a deal killer, because there's some attorneys that will go renegade and respond to the other side and haven't spoken with their client, just make assumptions, or just their whole tone in communication, it can turn the other side off. So you have to be very mindful as a broker who you refer your clients to.
I don't mind an attorney on my team giving me their expert opinion about something. But I want just that, and I want to make the call. I don't like attorneys who get into the mix and start negotiating the deal on my behalf without having a conversation with me or my realtor. That response time is real. As a business owner, though, I'm sensitive to the fact that when you start off with the business, you may start off at one level in terms of you being small, so you're able to give people that one-on-one personal touch. And as you get bigger and you have more clients, you have to put in more people to support you, that you get a little bit removed from that.
Right.
So some feedback that, I've done deals, so I'm a little bit different, but on my referrals, in terms of people I refer attorneys to in the past, some of the criticism I've gotten is that they meet the attorney on the initial encounter and initial engagement, but all the follow-up work and conversations done by a paralegal. And at a certain point, they're like, no, I want to talk to Attorney Perry Mason. This is why, I want to talk to Perry Mason. And they can't get Perry Mason because they're dealing with a paralegal. I struggle as an entrepreneur because I know that you have a balance between the business growing. You can't.
Yes.
So how do you guys manage that whole?
It is, balance is the word, and it's something that we work on all the time. But I think that we have a good balance. So one of the things is, obviously your paralegal or your support staff has to be competent.
Sure.
And for me, I needed someone, and EJ can probably talk to how there was some turnover because I wasn't finding
the right
who
one
I needed.
Were you outsourcing them, the paralegals, or were you bringing them in?
No, we were bringing them in.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, but I think I need the person to understand how I work, how I do business, how my relationships are with my realtors, with my clients, how I want my clients to be spoken to. I want whatever, you can't be me, but I want you to at least try to give that same feel, because I don't want, if I try to be welcoming, I don't want you to be stuffy or whatever. Another thing, so, that's the first part. The next part, though, is I am still very involved. I'm still, a workaholic a little bit. So for me, and people maybe not know this, if they're not behind the scenes, but anytime that my paralegal does respond to something, she's usually saying something that I've told her to say. So
you definitely get that feel working with Kelly.
Okay.
You definitely get that feel.
You. But
her touch is
she's
embedded.
Involved. Yeah, even if her assistant is responding to the email, that you can tell that she's communicated with Kelly, that she's just not trying to practice law on her own.
I still, I read every letter, I read every email, I still know what's going on, and it gets harder, and I may not know as well because I might have to go back and look at a contract or look through the emails to see, because the more clients you have, they're not going to be, every detail is not going to be top of mind, but I keep notes and I keep track because I want to make sure that I do know what's going on. And then the other thing I think is, I still do chime in. So you're not going to get from me just the hello in the beginning and then you meet me at the closing table.
Yeah, she CC'd on all of the emails.
So I do chime in. And then, if it gets to be a question or something where I feel like they probably do want to hear from me, then the answer will come from me so that the client knows, or I will call them because a lot of times I'm in the car back and forth from closings anyway, so it's easier for me to just hop on the phone real quick and explain something. If there's some sort of point of contention from the other side, then I will step in to handle that. I don't really, leave my paralegals to kind of do the arguing and the, that part.
Sure.
And that's also the part that I like.
Sure. I think attorneys, like most real estate professionals, skill set evolve given where they're at in their career. The type of attorney I needed when I did my first transaction is different from what I need now. I talk and discuss more complex ideas and things of that nature. How do you, in terms of your practice, are you seeing a marriage between first-time or conventional buyers versus real estate investors? Are you seeing more with the other or equal mix? What do you think is your wheelhouse?
So I am good with both.
Yeah.
I think basically what happened is that when I was starting out, I probably had more of the first-time home buyers. And I think, that's just probably it takes a while to find those investors or to find those realtors that have the investors to bring to you. So, I'm good with that. And those first-time home buyers, they need a lot of hand-holding. They need a lot of talking off the ledge. They need a lot of, a little bit emotional support as well.
Yeah. It's new to them,
I'm good with that. And ironically, even though it was years after I started practicing, but I just bought a house a year ago. And it wasn't my first house, but it was my first big price house. And so the way that the experience for me was so different than when I got my condo when I was, 20 something.
Oh, yeah.
And so that process helped me to better understand the first time home buyer because it was like, okay, we submitted the offer and now I'm on pins and needles waiting for the response. And every time my phone goes off, I'm like, is it them? Is it them? And then, I was my own attorney, but so I'm submitting the attorney review letter. Now I'm on pins and needles waiting for them to respond to see did they, accept what I'm trying to change, et cetera, et cetera. So it helped me to understand that first time home buyer and what they're going through when they don't know what's going on, when they're nervous to find out if everything is going to work out. So I think that, I'm still good in that arena of the first-time home buyer. When it comes to the investors, I like that too because it allows me to discuss, like you said, the more complex things. It allows you to do sometimes things that are a little bit more creative, a little bit more unorthodox, and I like that. I think that's what helps the practice not be boring is those types of deals.
Sure.
So, and I think, I'm comfortable with that because like I mentioned, my family is in real estate, so I've gotten the chance to get familiar with people, doing investing and, and working with EJ. Then, we get those people that it's not their first home. So, I think I'm good either way.
Gotcha. EJ, how many attorneys have you worked with? Let's just say use the term going through. in your career. In terms of going through.
We kind of lucked up early on because a close friend of ours' wife was an attorney.
Right.
So when we first struck out, she offered to be our attorney, and she was pretty competent, so we rolled with her, but you can't put all of your eggs in one basket.
So you fired her?
No, we didn't fire her. We still do business with her, too. But really, there's only two that I prefer to do business with, and Kelly is definitely one of them.
When you find a good attorney, you stay with them.
You stick with them because that is a huge trust factor, because they are covering your best interest. So you need to make sure that who you have is attentive and somewhat assertive and feels like they have your back. Is not just going to let the other side kind of take advantage of you for the sake of just getting the deal done. So that's really important.
I had to fire an attorney once.
It happens.
Yeah, I had to. I mean, because when the attorney knew me and my knowledge base at that time was different as the relationship evolved, and so it was a communication thing. The attorney spoke in a very professorial, condescending, and I was like,
that doesn't work for me.
That don't work for me either. That work for me. At one point, though, I needed that. I needed that hand holding. At one point, I wanted, but after 8-9 deals in, it flipped. Which brings us to this point. Why does a person even need a real estate attorney? I mean, you can literally now go online. They teach you when you go do real estate investing, you spend money. They teach you how to go to someone's table and have a contract already ready. It's kind of already downloaded off the Illinois website for realtors or something, and go to the kitchen table and
fill out your docs.
And do and get it done right there, and don't even need a real. Why does because there's somebody listening right now like, hey, we don't need her, we can do it all. So why do we need a realtor?
I mean, I think that the easiest answer is just that the whole entire transaction is based on a contract. So to me, if there is a contract involved, then you probably need an attorney who knows that contract in and out. And I think that the real estate transactions are so much based on the contract, but also based on just like industry standard. Like the way that we interpret the contract is also a thing. You need that expertise there. So even if you read it, you don't necessarily know what it really means for like practical purposes. And I've seen that so many times with, clients, especially very savvy clients, like even a client who maybe is an attorney but not a real estate attorney, or a client who is a doctor, or someone who they're smart and they can read and they can understand
But it's
most
a different
things.
discipline.
Yeah, and so, I'll see someone say, oh, well, I read this and I can tell from whatever they're saying that they have interpreted it in a way that is just wrong.
Right.
So I think that, that's the main point. But when you're talking about what's going on in the transaction, obviously your realtor can get you very far. They find you the place. They perhaps link you with, a loan officer. They get you through the inspection. They give you that expertise. And I think, you keep your realtor in the loop all along. I like to, especially because I feel like, the realtor has seen the property and they know the area, they know the comps, they know what, certain things should and shouldn't be. So you definitely still need them there. But you need someone who's going to pay attention to how do we incorporate into the contract once we've had our inspection and we know the repairs that we want or the credits that we want. How do we incorporate that into the contract? How do we keep your earnest money safe? How do we negotiate around when you need some things, some more time with your loan process?
Right.
How do we? And I can get so technical with just
But point made, and that was a lob ball question in the sense that you need an expert on your team,
right? And Kelly is really good also with testing the temperature when things get it can go either way. A deal can fall apart. She's like, well, what do you think about this? Like, what's the disposition of? Well, maybe instead of handling this with the attorney, we should probably handle this at the realtor level. So she's really good at keeping me in the loop and making sure that we're always doing the right thing, not only for our client, but to also keep the deal in play if it really needs to.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have some more conversation with Attorney Kelly Knight, E.J. Williams. We're going to talk about the 10 lethal mistakes to avoid in your first real estate investment. Give us a call, 312-374-8130. You'll listen to C Flips, He Flips. We'll be right back. He Flips, there's something about that. That's a great, all church songs should be like that. Had a whole next generation in church. If every church song was like that, praising God like that, man. Welcome back to C Flips, He Flips. Curtis R. Monday, 312-374-8130. In the studio with Attorney Kelly Knight. Good morning to you, Kelly. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing good.
Kelly, where can individuals locate you if they want your services?
They can locate me via email is the best way, knight@kmrlawgroup.com. That's KKNIGHT@kmrlawgroup.com. Website is www.kmrlawgroup.com. Phone number 312-574-0181.
All right. The great E.J. Williams, where can people find you?
You can call me at 773-340-9101. And you can also email me at ej@buildingherlegacy.com if you're in need of a realtor or a coach or a mentor for your investing purposes.
All right. To reach me for your strategic planning for your real estate and business, call me. No, don't call me. Go out to www.curtisrmonday.com, www.curtisrmonday.com. We got a couple of people who have reached out and we're working with you to get your plans. I'm excited about that. For all your insurance and financial services needs, get your financial house in order, call me at 708-647-1005. I want to talk about, this topic was actually pretty good. Thanks, EJ, for bringing it up. 10 lethal mistakes to avoid on your first real estate investment. Now, every real estate transaction is going to be a learning experience,
right,
especially your first real estate investment transaction.
You're going to learn the most on that first one.
Yeah, and that's how you learn. You learn by the hard. I mean, you can read books and go to seminars and talk to great people like Kelly and EJ, but no great teacher, better teacher than the hard knocks of life and real life experience.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to kind of go through this and kind of discuss some of the 10, and I want to get these great ladies' thoughts. Number one, bad financing. Bad financing can be lethal. Now, 5 categories, bad financing. 1, high interest rate. 2, adjustable interest rate. 3, high monthly payment. 4, balloon payments. And then 5, personal recourse. EJ, when you hear that bad financing, what's your thought?
Well, you have to make sure you get the right loan, especially if you're using other people's money that is perfect for the deal that you're trying to do. And then you have to also uncover all of the particulars.
The little swerves.
Exactly. So we have, I have someone who actually called me this week, and she just learned with her hard money loan that she's not getting reimbursed 100% of each line item. It's going to be a certain percentage, towards it. She didn't budget for that. She's expecting to get all of her money for each of the line items. So now that's thrown a monkey wrench in
Because she doesn't have enough money.
She doesn't have the money that's, on reserve to fill in the gaps. So she's finding herself, exactly, she had to go out and get, borrow some money from someone else so that she can fill in the gaps with that. So you really have to know and make sure that you can trust your lender and that they know and they're telling you everything, about it. Because that's now she has to pay somebody else, on top of the loan. She has to give up some money so that she can get this project done. So you have to really make sure that you have all the nuances about your loan.
I want to put these 5 into perspective.
Yep.
Like, these are things to pay attention, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're all like a deal. Like, if you're doing like a rehab loan, a higher interest rate is just part of the deal. Even if you're getting private money lending from an investor, they're probably going to charge you a higher interest rate than what you would get if you did so it's not always bad. You just got to be aware of the parameters. Right. One thing that can sneak up on you too with these rehab loans is that some of them have balloon dates, right? They'll give you the money for a year, and they're in the business of giving you the money so they can term out of it. And if you're not out that project in that time frame, they're looking for, as EJ say, all their coins at the end, right?
Right.
And they may give you an extension, and they don't have to.
But they don't have to.
So you have to kind of, and that goes into coming up with a good scope of work, having a good contract, and other things we'll get into to make sure you have the ability to get in that deal and then get out at a certain period of time. The personal recourse thing, with putting your own, personally guaranteeing.
Right.
I haven't figured out a way yet to not do that. There are companies that specialize in trying to teach you how to create credit for your entity.
Right.
Because you got to imagine like a Bill Gates or a big CEO of a company isn't putting their personal credit when they try to get right. So there's a way, just black folks haven't figured it out yet. Like that hadn't filtered down yet. They moved the cheese on it. So bad financing. 2, and Kelly, by all means, feel free if you got any thought about these things, jump in. 2, another lethal mistake to avoid: bad location.
Right.
Buying a piece of property in a bad location.
The number one rule in real estate is still location, location, location. You cannot get away from that. People think it's just the numbers, finding the right deal. The top thing is always the location. It could be a great deal, but it's on a block that no one wants to live in. It's a bunch of board ups. It doesn't matter how good the numbers potentially mean how much you can acquire it for. You can keep the rehab budget, pretty constrained. That doesn't matter. If you're flipping it, then who's going to buy it?
Sure.
If it's a rental property, well, no one necessarily wants to live on that block or in that area. So you can never get away from location. Don't buy it because, my grandmother lived on that street, and you have some personal, emotional, attachment to it. That's always wrong. And then, honestly, if you're in this market, let's talk about Chicago. Location, sometimes you don't really know what the block looks like because you're looking in the winter and everything is pretty,
get hot to the summer, right?
The summer exposes neighborhoods and blocks and things like that. So still, you have to make sure that you're really confident in the location.
That's like a sweet spot with this. It's true. If you go to an area that has a lot of distressed properties, right, the upside is that the numbers potentially can make sense.
Right.
But it may be a harder rent, maybe a harder sell.
Yep.
You go to a more prosperous area, maybe like a Lincoln Park, for example, right? Mm-hmm. You can easily probably sell it, and people love to live there, but the numbers may not make sense in terms of what you may be getting. So you have to find, there are entrepreneurs like a Magic Johnson who made his money by going into Inglewood, California, a tough area, and putting Starbucks and movie theaters. So it is something that you can make some money in the hood, quote unquote.
Right.
However, though, you just have to know, and that comes with having a good realtor and a good team overall with your attorney. They're kind of talking about these things. So, number 3, misjudging resale or rent value.
Yeah, that's a deal killer.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I work on both sides of that. As a flipper myself, a developer myself, you cannot overestimate what you think you can sell this place for.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, even working with other investors, they think, because I'm going to put surround sound in the house and I'm going to put a party door on the garage, and you think all of these things are going to increase the after repair value, and they're not. And if the comps are saying that the ARV is $250, don't go into this deal thinking that because it's you and the things that you plan on doing to it is now going to be magically $275.
Exactly.
So you can't put these personal bad judgments into your deal. Numbers don't lie.
So
Okay?
if you had to give a person put money into a piece of property with the goal of being able to maximize their investment, in what area of the home would you tell them to focus their dollars in?
Kitchens and bathroom sells homes, period.
Yep.
You have to put the money in the kitchens, and you have to put the money in the baths. Like Chicago, we love basements.
Yeah.
You know, we like finished basements, so that's a big part too. But it's not a lot of money that you have to put into a basement. But focus on the kitchen, focus on the bathroom, and also the layout.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
so do you find that people are making these mistakes because they are not listening to their realtor, or they are maybe just trying to, maybe they have a realtor that's not as competent and is not telling them the
It's a nuanced question.
As an investor, a lot of times if you're a newbie, you shouldn't be going at it if you never flipped a house or if you haven't redeveloped a house, even for rental purposes. You need to have someone that's instructing you from experience. I think that's a lot of time when I've been called in to people who are waving the white flag, they're in trouble. You got to back it up. Okay, well, how did you come to this decision? And you realize this is a decision they made that was just on their own with no experience, just kind of thinking that because they watched HGTV, or...
But whether you have experience or you had done no deals or this is your first deal, you've done a lot of deals, you still need to, like, the average investor doesn't have access to the MLS to be able to run a comp, right?
Right.
So we're left to look at things like Zillow or Redfin.
Oh, my goodness.
To get some kind of... it's a very inaccurate assessment as to what, like, so... Well, you have to rely. I mean, hell, I've done EJ and I looking at a deal right now. I'm like, EJ, what should we do in terms of? I'm relying on EJ to tell me because she has the access to the information and experience. So you can't go without it.
Right.
On rental properties and things of that nature, you need to have an idea of what the market rate for rent is. Just because your place in Inglewood got surround sound, you can't charge $2,000 a month. Ain't nobody paying $2,000 a month in Inglewood for you have to be
realistic.
Yeah, I like to get news. I used to get newspapers and look to see what if I had a property in South Shore and 3-bedroom. I wanted to see what other 3-bedrooms in South Shores were going for, so that way I had some kind of idea. I work with and now this is before I use realtors to help. Rent my place out. You can also go if you're going to use subsidized housing, you can go to Section 8 and get guidelines like, hey, you know what is this going for? But misjudging resale or rent value can kill you. 4, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, underestimating repair costs.
That's one of the biggest things, I think, or if not the biggest thing, is because especially let's look at it in two scenarios. If you're flipping and you go in and people always underestimate how much it costs to get things done. Yeah. Oh, I can get this place. It's a complete gut. Everything needs to be touched. Oh, I can do this with $50,000. No, you cannot. Just because you think you have a friend, oh, my boy is going to do the electrical for me, or I got somebody that's going to do the HVAC, never rely on that these hookups that you have is going to impact your renovation costs. Always plan for the worst, and then put a contingency 10 to 15% on top of that.
On top of that,
but that's the biggest thing.
I agree. It's always going to be some unforeseen things that come up in the rehab, and that's the contingency component. I think some of this though speaks to the speed and how rapid or how competitive the real estate landscape is. Like if a product you're interested in hypothetically goes on the MLS on one day, it could be gone a couple of hours. It could be under contract a couple of hours, later.
Yep.
So being able to kind of get out there and see it and look at it, sometimes if you don't have a system in place, you can, in an effort to be fast in order to get a contract and an offer out there, you can really, shoot yourself in the foot. And it happens, and it can kill a deal when you find out. It's nothing worse with being in a rehab and figuring out that, hey, you $20,000 short.
Right.
And you don't have the $20,000.
Right.
You're like, I ain't got the $20,000. Like, wow, that's
and that happens so many times.
Yeah, and an experience like that can make you not want to do it again.
Right.
Right. You go through that, you're like, I'm never doing that again. It's not a bad. I mean, you learn from it, and it sucks.
And that happens to everybody.
Yeah. It happens on the HGTV shows.
Yeah.
They just don't show that part. Like
sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it literally happens to everybody. Part of it is not planning for the unforeseen, not planning for the things that you just will never know until demo happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 5, running out of cash, which is kind of like related to number 4 in a way.
Right.
Like you just
don't have it.
You just run out of bread. Like. You go work on it on Saturdays. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
You go.
That's when you start asking your friends and your family, I need a loan to finish this project. And then again, now that's also killing your profit on the back end because they're going to want a return on that money. They're just not loaning you $15,000, $20,000 so that you can make $30,000, and then they're not seeing anything. You know, you have to pay to play.
But another out could be if you purchase the property correctly, you may be able to sell it. Someone may be able to take your position in it, and you can, get out, with breaking even. And so, but yeah, running out of cash is a big deal too. EJ, you said this was a good one for you. I wonder what you think about this, Kelly. Letting emotions drive your decision.
Yeah. I mean, I invested in a neighborhood. I'm from the Wild Hundreds.
Wow.
Right? And I'm still very much grateful for my upbringing, and I when I go back to out there, it bothers me because I feel like that's one of the most forgotten about parts of town. The fact that there is legit a food desert. You know, the further you go into the Roseland area, it's no grocery stores. But I wanted to be a part. You talk about it, but I want to be a part of the change. Right. So we did take a chance on this one project. Luckily, we got out of it, but we sat on that project for a long time because people are just a little concerned.
The little house next to them.
The empty lots?
The empty lots?
Yeah.
Was it like a car lot next to it? No. Not that one. Not that one.
Not that one.
Okay.
But, I mean, there was some good things that happened. The guy who owned the building to the east of us, he owned that property for rental, and he knew what we was doing. So he said, you know what, when it's time for you guys to get your house on the market, I'm going to clean up my place. So he painted his home. So it helped us, when people pull up and they, take a look and they're like, okay. Yeah. But it hasn't discouraged me from continuing to invest in that area, but I definitely did it from a pet project and emotional, but I have the leverage and the capacity to do something like that, but that's not something that I would recommend for a newbie investor at all.
Absolutely, man. Sometimes when your heart says go, your mind has to say no, stop. Let's think about this thing logically. So, yeah, letting your emotions drive wild. 7, this is a good one. Choosing the wrong real estate strategy. Believe it or not, you need to have some kind of strategy when you get into real estate investing. Are you going to focus in on single-family homes? Are you focus in on multi-units? Are you going to be a commercial space? Are you going to be a wholesaler? Are you going to be a flipper? Are you going to be buying whole? You have to try to figure out what strategy works for you. Like EJ and I talk about this. If ever God touched somebody and said, you are going to be in flipping because you like to go to Home Depot and pick out stuff and God, it was EJ. It was the angel, Michael, and then it was EJ. Like she's great at it. It's what she does. I don't possess that skill set. I hire EJ in a heartbeat because I don't like doing it. I'm not as great at it as she is. So she operates perfectly in that space. I'm more of a buy whole guy. But the point is, you got to know what your wheelhouse is.
What your wheelhouse is.
Do all of them.
No, you can't.
Definitely, it's like, jack of all trades, master of none. And they're so different. All the fields are different. And I do come across people who maybe you've excelled in, a few investments, and then now you decide you want to be a wholesaler, but you don't really have any idea how that part of the game works. So I think definitely picking a couple and becoming a pro at those, or at least if you try to dabble in something else, realize you don't actually know it yet, and then reach out to whoever you might need to help you, to kind of show you the tricks.
Tricks of trade, yeah.
Right.
I don't mind it, you need to have, you can't be a one-trick pony. And in some, like, even with buying whole, if you're trying to acquire a large number of units, you can't literally use all your own money. Like, you got to find other ways to get capital to acquire the things you're trying to buy. So flipping becomes, active real estate investing, or flipping becomes a component to do it. Mm-hmm. But again, know what your strengths are. That'll help you and save you a lot of headaches. Number 8, choosing bad contractors.
Oh my goodness.
I can spend a whole show on that one.
Right, exactly. Not vetting your contractors correctly, overpaying your contractors. It's not checking out their work, not making sure that they're actually showing up at the job site. It's a lot of bad contractors out there, but there are some good ones. You have to sometimes kiss a couple of frogs first. But unfortunately, that's just the nature of the game. Man. But there are some ways to protect yourself. I
mean, there are things you can do. You do your due diligence to make sure you're getting. It's like, look, you can date them. You can go to marriage counseling. Y'all go to church. And y'all still get divorced.
Yeah.
Like you try to vet, and the marriage just don't. It's the same thing with contractors. Like, contractors overextend themselves.
Right.
It's like when you got a good one, like a good man or a good woman, you try to keep them. You got a good contractor.
Keep it to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I got a good one, somebody, I need somebody to help me with that. I don't even tell. I'm Sadie. I don't even refer.
Listen, one of our main contractors, we've been working with him for 10 years. We still argue. We still fuss. Jason was telling me yesterday how they had a bit of a heated discussion the other day, because part of the problem with the contract, when they get to the end, is when they start kind of getting a little
Cutting
flaky.
corners, yeah.
Not even so much cutting corners, but they've already started something else. So when you need them to come back to button up things, you have to chase them down.
That's why you don't give them all that money.
That's why you always hold back that final payment, because you're not getting the rest until you come back and finish everything. But yeah, and then just getting them to understand your standards. It takes time sometimes to groom your contractors and realize that mine, it catches everything. So you can't get much past me, but this is, again, I've been in this game a long time, so you have to just make sure that it's a working relationship. They're responsible, they're responsive, and that they will operate at your level.
Yeah. Number 9, this is going for you, Kelly. Not using your due diligence period.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yes. I mean, it's there for a reason. It's there to figure out what you're getting yourself into. I feel like I have a lot of clients. If you get into a contract where the sale is supposed to be as is, you know that you're not going to be able to ask for the seller to make any repairs or even give any concessions. They're not going to give you any money off or whatever if something's wrong. But just because you can't get anything from the seller doesn't mean that you still don't want to know what's there. Because, right. I mean, if the roof is in need of total replacement, or if the foundation is a mess or whatever, then you have no recourse, and then you're in a situation where now your budget is probably off, and then that takes us back to whatever number in your mistake list we were on. But it's like, you have to know what you're getting into first so that you can make an informed decision of if this is even a good investment.
Yeah. So, again, to piggyback, even if you're a seasoned real estate investor and you're buying a property as is, that doesn't mean forego your attorney review period. Have that built in. And I know a lot of times there's some realtors that will, in order for your offer to be more competitive, in addition to doing things like, hey, you know what, you're a cash offer, but in reality you got a rehab loan, or they may say, hey, we can close in this amount of time, and we're foregoing things to make you look more competitive, and that can only come back to bite you in the butt. And then number 10, not learning from your mistakes. These mistakes are just not for you to suffer the pain of them, but also to learn from them so you'll be better the next time around and not go through them again. And so, again, we encourage you guys, don't beat yourself up. People go through these things all the time, and it's a part of the growing experience. And so, like always, Remote Bay says, hey, what's good? I came in late. I flipped. What's going on, Remote Bay? We see you. Time flies when you're having fun. So
it's that time already.
It's that time. We got to get out of here. Kelly, our newest Kelly Knight, attorney Kelly Knight, our newest preferred referral partner for C Flips. Where can individuals locate you and contact you if they need some attorney help with their real estate transactions?
KMRLawGroup.com. Email me, knnight@KMRLawGroup.com. I'm also on Instagram. Kelly Knight ESQ is my my lawyer Instagram page.
Okay. Okay.
She also has a fun one too, but
really?
We're not giving out that one.
A few transactions in, then you get the fun one.
Okay.
Once you've been vetted and cleared.
And EJ, when you're not floating in the clouds with the other angels and doing different things, where can individuals find you here in Earth on the South Side? Where can we find you?
You can pick up the phone and call me 773-340-9101. If you are looking for a coach, if you're looking for a realtor, if you're looking for a mentor, you can reach out to me. Send me an email at ej@buildingherlegacy.com. I also have a real specialized training opportunity that the doors are still open for that, where one of our huge investment projects that we're flipping a Greystone over in the Woodlawn area, where basically our flip becomes your classroom. So we're just at the tail end of demo, so it's still good to come in. It's about a 6-month project with hours during the weekday and in the evening for you to come by and learn and truly see the process from start to finish. So reach out to me if that sounds interesting to you. And you can find me on Instagram, ultimate_EJ, and also at Ultimate Real Estate Blueprint.
It takes an entire team to help an individual get through a real estate transaction. And we're finding out that it takes a team of competent professionals to help eradicate this level of poverty that we see in our communities, to help individuals create a blueprint for creating generational wealth, to help individuals become entrepreneurs in the arena of real estate. And so I'm glad that you guys are being able to join EJ and I on this journey as you see us meticulously and strategically put together individuals who we know have the skill set to be able to help us along this journey. And so we have a lot of things coming down the pipe, a lot of things that we're excited about, and looking forward to working more with Kelly and Nina and Corey and Sean, and we got some other things we need to check off and things off the list, but we appreciate everyone. To get with me, again, for one-on-one real estate and business strategic coaching, go to www.curtisrmonday.com. To look at your holistically insurance and financial portfolio, contact the Curtis R. Monday Insurance Agency at 708-647-1005. I get out of here. I tell everybody I don't do this for my first name. I do this for my last name. Chance the baby, I love you. You're going to eat that solid food tonight. I swear, no more bottle. No more bottle tonight. You're going to bed tonight, man. God bless you. I got to get out of here. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.